Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be doing some upgrades to our Axial Bronco. We have some ProLine tires we're going to be installing. Let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so the tires that we have lined up for this little guy, the Bronco by Axial, are going to be made by ProLine, and they're going to be these tires here. We do have a link in the bio with our affiliates to pick some of these up. We also have some foam that we'll be installing as well, and we'll be also venting these tires as we do the install. So we'll show you all of that and how it goes, but we're going to be upgrading this little guy. We don't have a fifth wheel to put back here, so if by chance we get a flat while we're out, we'll have to use this guy, unfortunately. I don't want to buy another pack of wheels just for the fifth wheel, but, you know, I'm not a baller status. But if you guys want to send me an extra wheel, great. I'll go ahead and put it on there. But let's go ahead and get into it and install these wheels. All right, so we have our foams and we have our wheels. Now, these are made by ProLine. These are the 124 scale MT Baja Pro X. Now, these are 1-inch tires, and they're the MDT 7mm tires. So the Mickey Thompsons, from what they look like, they're pretty aggressive. We'll take them out of the packaging here and get these installed. And then we have our foams. So these foams are the 1-inch dual-stage closed cell. They are soft outer rock crawling foam inserts. So they're also 1-inch. But let's get these opened up and get these installed, and then I'll show you where we're going to be venting and how we're going to be venting these. So let's get these going here. Now, when we took this Bronco out, initially we did have some issues with the tipping. We're not adding any weight to it yet. These are just plastic replacements, but it does have a lot more grip. So we'll see if that aids in our crawling capability with the Bronco. And then in the future, as I do a little more research, or if you guys have any recommendations, we'll definitely be adding some weight to it. But let's take one of these out here and take a look. Very nice and aggressive wheel as opposed to the old ones on there. A little bit smaller and not nearly as aggressive. Now, these are really soft. There's nothing inside of them. Where these do have foam, but we're going to upgrade the foam on these. So we're going to have to take these apart, and we'll go ahead and do that and get these installed. All right, so we have everything laid out here. We have all the tools that we're going to need, and I'll go over that. What you do not need is a razor. If you have one of these, get rid of it. You're not going to be venting with this, so let's get rid of that. We'll talk about why that is in a bit. But what you will need is a 1.5mm wrench there, and that's going to be to take apart the bead locks. I'm going to use a marker to mark where I'm going to be venting them, and then we also have our cross wrench here to take them off of the Bronco. We have this to heat up the paper clip, and we have a paper clip somewhere right here that we'll be opening up to vent these. Now, the reason why we're going to use a paper clip is because we don't want to use a razor, as that will in the future cause tears and rip open that tire, where a nice puncture from a paper clip will keep that hole nice and closed up with just a hole to vent. So let's go ahead and take this apart and get this installed, and we do have this so that we don't burn ourselves as we're poking that hole into the wheel. So just keep that in mind, that you will be heating up this metal and you don't want to burn yourself. So having something to hold that will definitely help. So let's take this apart and take the old foams out and install the new ones. All right, so we have the screws out, and let's go ahead and take these apart. All right, so we have those apart, and you can see they're 3-piece bead locks. And we're going to go ahead and remove the old foam. That's the old foam compared to the new foam. And we're going to put these inside of it. But I'm going to go ahead and vent it first so that we're not poking into the foam when we vent it. So let's do that right now. Now I'm going to vent it at the 1 o'clock and 6 o'clock position, so I'm going to go ahead and just base it off of the MT logo here, and I'll vent it just below that as well. And get it hot enough there. Let's go put some more heat on this. I do have a torch somewhere, but it's not at hand. That would have been a little bit better to get this really nice and hot, but we're going to work with this flame. Nice hole there. We're going to go just in the opposite direction there. All right, so we got that vented there. Let's go ahead and add in the new foam. Got that new foam installed there, and let's go ahead and put the bead locks back on. So we got the middle ring installed. Make sure you align where the screws are going to go back in. If you line the spokes, you'll line those screws. So let's go ahead and insert one of these. Get this started. All right, so we have those on. Let's go ahead and just hand tighten them a little bit more. All right, so we have one wheel done there, and you can see the difference between that wheel and then the old wheel, which, what did we do with that guy? There already, can't see the new foam, but you can definitely feel that. Me even squeezing it, you can see the difference there. So it's gonna be nice to test these out. Let's get the other ones installed and we'll put these onto the Bronco. All right, so we have all of our foam installed in the wheels. Now the price of these wheels, I got them for $26.99, and that is the same price that we have in our link in the description. And the foam was another $19.99, so you're looking at about $46.99 or so for a full set with the foam and the tires. So very good looking as far as the tread pattern. Very aggressive, very nice looking wheel. Let's get them installed on the Bronco. And just for size comparison here, the old wheel compared to the new one. And then let's see, I don't recall if these are directional. The way we had them, I guess I should have looked at that when I installed the tires, but looks like we have this pattern here. We can do it like that. And then we have this pattern, which we'll put in the rear. So let's keep it like that. All right. Now this wheel is a bit deeper than the old one, so I'm going to have to start this with my pliers here. And then we'll see if we can finish it off with this tool. Now being deeper, it's just that tread in the outside getting in the way a little bit as you're trying to screw this in, but if you have something to start it with, like I said, a pair of pliers, it'll definitely work. Or if you have an extension or a longer tool, that'll work as well. All right, so we got one installed. Kind of see the difference between the two. Let's get them all on. All right, there it is, all installed and ready to go. Looking really aggressive. Let's see if it affects the turning on it. Let's open this up and get this plugged in. All right, we still got it plugged in here. Let's take our controller. Looks like we still have steering, fully capable there, nothing rubbing. Now it looks like we don't have as much flex now, but we didn't necessarily have that to begin with because of the shocks. So we'll see how it does when we take it out. See if we have any rubbing issues. And we'll go from there. But just from looking at it, looks very aggressive. First upgrade to the little Bronco. We'll see how it does. Again, I only have the 4 wheels, no 5th wheel. So if, like I said, if we get a flat out in the field, one of these, we're just gonna have to run it with that. All right, so let's go ahead and take this thing out, see how it does with the new tires. All right, so we brought the Bronco out with the brand new tires and wheels installed. Those are the ProLine tires. So we're gonna go ahead and test it out. Now, as I was coming out here to do the recording, we did get our upgrades for it to help assist with those tires not rubbing and hitting and giving it a little bit of a lift there. So we did get the 39mm shocks, and we also got the links that'll give it a lift as well. So we'll be putting those on and then taking it out once again. But let's go ahead and see with the stock setup what these wheels can do out in the field on some rocks and on that tree that we always take it out to. So let's go ahead and check it out. All right, so we're back at our tree. We are here in the morning, so there might be a little bit of a dew and residue on the tree and rocks. So we'll see how well it does. But let's take the Bronco up the tree. We did have some issues when it hit that knot last time. You'll see these tires help with that grip. That knot was the one that we had a lot of issues with last time, and it overcame it with ease, no problem at all. So those tires definitely help with that. So we're coming to the very top, where we can no longer go any higher. Let's see if we can make it up to that branch that's been cut. This is where those shocks and links will make a difference, but in the stock form, with these new tires, it really hugs and grips that tree, and we're up to the very top. So pretty cool. Tires made a huge difference overcoming that knot that gave us a lot of issues last time. We had no traction and it worked. And again, there is rubbing, we know that from the fenders, so we did order those upgrades. We'll do that in another video, but these tires so far and the stock setup for the Bronco have overcome this tree that gave us issues last time. So pretty cool to see that. Let's go check out the rocks. Definitely losing some turning with those big tires, but they are extremely grippy going over those rocks. Go ahead and turn it around and head back the other way. Looks like we're gonna be able to make it down, but let's see if we can go down this rock right here just to see how well it does coming down. I'm not sure if it'll make it, but let's go ahead and just try it out just for the sake of fun. See these tires grip onto that rock there. I'm assuming it's gonna just fall forward. Sure did. Almost. It might make it. Let's try it again. Definitely with those upgrades, might have a little bit of luck. All right, well, definitely can do front flips. Let's try the grip coming down this hill here and down these rocks. Forward. Let's try it coming down this hill here. See if we can make it all the way down from there. So that's not an issue. Definitely will gain all of our steering back with those upgrades. But those rock are no match for this little guy. 124 scale with those tires really make a big difference. All right, so we're done with the test of these tires on the 124 scale Bronco by Axial. So these are the ProLine tires. They're Mickey Thompson's, looking very good, very aggressive. For a stock setup with these tires, it did make a difference. You guys saw direct head-to-head with that tree that we couldn't scale last time. It did very well there. The rocks have performed similar. I didn't have as much turning radius, obviously, with these tires kind of getting in the way. But again, we have some upgrades that just came in. They're from Injora, and I'll be linking these on the bottom too, but we do have some shocks and a high clearance link kit that we'll be installing. That should definitely aid with this. And again, if you guys have any ideas on upgrades for this to kind of get it to, you know, have a little more fun, more out and about, let me know. Again, I did want to keep this more in the stock form to kind of test it out, but I think at this point, I think for my use with these links and the high clearance and these tires, I think it's going to be just perfect for what I want to do as far as the course that we're going to be creating. And again, that'll be something that we'll talk about in future videos, but once I'm done with that and I figure out that's what's going to work and make this pretty reliable, I may go all out and upgrade this entirely. So I know that we can build these from the ground up, but we are starting from the base from Axial. And again, those tires made a huge difference, and those are linked in our description. So if you guys want to pick these up, go ahead and pick them up there. But a lot of fun with this guy today. We'll be installing those upgrades here soon, hopefully, if I get some time. And once we do that, we'll come back out and test them out in the same scenario, the same setup, and see if we can do a little bit better climbing up those rocks and even getting through that dirt. I know that this didn't have too much success going in that on any type of incline, and that's just probably the capability of this. I'm probably pushing it more than I should. Probably should take it to some terrain that's not as aggressive. But again, those tires did make a difference from our previous video of us testing it out just in its stock form. So big difference there with those tires. And if you guys like those, go ahead and pick those up. Description is in the, the link is in the description. So I do thank you guys for watching. Please remember to comment, subscribe with anything that you guys have in mind as far as what we should put on this. I know there's a lot of folks out there, tons of folks out there who are upgrading these and making them into cool crawling machine. So again, we're taking it a step at a time. So far the wheels do great, and I hope you guys watch our next video. We'll be installing the links and the shocks, so we'll see you guys then.